As promised, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 tools that you can add to your collection that are going to allow you to get started as a DIYer or beginner woodworker. Make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to be offering a bonus tip and something that I've done myself that's going to save you a ton of money on your tool purchases. So tune in until the very end and I will share that with you. Okay, for full transparency, I do want to disclose that every tool I'm talking about today is through a brand called Ryobi. Now, I do want to just be out there and say this is not the top of the line. This is not going to be the best brand for any of your woodworking needs. But as a beginner, these tools are what they're designed for. They're meant for DIYers, beginner woodworkers, and that's who we're targeting. DeWalt, Milwaukee, those tools are going to be a better brand, but they're going to cost you a lot more money and therefore don't fit the budget of the $300 that I'm talking about here today. Okay, so tool number 1 is a saw. You need a saw to cut wood. That's pretty standard. And this is called a circular saw or sometimes referred to as a skill saw. This is mostly just going to be making straight cuts for you, plain and simple, cutting 2x4s or 4x4s if you're building a deck or a fence, or if you're doing some woodworking projects or, refinishing some furniture, you're still going to be able to cut most pieces of wood with this. There are some limitations, which I'll get to later on in this video, but for most projects, this is going to be a great tool and certainly necessary for being a DIY beginner or a woodworker. Okay, tool number 2 is to be expected. You need a drill in your tool bag. And this drill right here is cordless. You can take it with you wherever you need to go, and it does the job that you need it to. It's meant to fasten pieces of wood together. You can hang drywall with this. You can do any basic carpentry with this, and it's a great tool that you're going to require to have anything that's fastened to something else. It's much more beneficial than using a hammer with nails. A, it's a lot more time consuming and noisier to go that approach, but B, it's a much stronger hold when you use a screw compared to a nail. But if you do need to drive a nail home, this tool right here is going to make the job quick and easy. This is not meant for framing. You're not going to be putting 2x4s together with this nail gun. It's not that type of nail gun. It is meant for brad nails. So that's things like putting up trim or hanging baseboard, things like that. Or really small woodworking projects, you can put small 1x1 or 1x2 products together with this. Tie in some wood glue, and that's going to be a great hold, but it isn't meant for really strong construction or anything that needs a lot of structure, but it makes really quick and easy work, and it saves you the headache of using a hammer nonstop. So this is a great product that I love. It's one of my favorite tools in my tool bag. Okay, so I do want to talk about 2 additional tools that you can add to your tool belt. This is not something that is necessary to be a DIYer or beginner woodworker. However, it is going to make your life a lot easier, and you're going to be able to do projects a lot faster. Now, that first tool is a miter saw. This is going to not replace the circular saw, but a lot of the cuts that you were going to make with the circular or skill saw are going to be able to be done on this miter saw. So cutting square cuts like 2x4s and 4x4 posts, you can do that on a miter saw, but the true benefit comes from being able to cut on 45-degree angles or certain bevels when you're doing things like trim work, hanging baseboard, trim work around doors and windows, things like that. A miter saw is great for. And any basic woodworking, 45-degree cuts are very common, but there's also some other cuts, 22.5 degrees, for example, that are going to be used a fair amount. And that's a great opportunity to use a miter saw, and it makes really quick and easy work. The other thing too is just the depth on this. So this is a sliding compound miter saw. So this means that you're going to be able to cut a lot deeper and larger pieces of wood than you would be able to with the circular saw that I posted before. And the second bonus tool is what's called a multi-tool or an oscillating saw. Now this beauty is awesome because it has so many different attachments. It's going to be able to cut on flat surfaces. So if you're trying to cut under a door jamb to slide some new flooring underneath, this tool is phenomenal for that. But you can also put on sanding attachments, so it saves you the headache of sanding by hand. And it has a number of different tools that you can add on that can cut different materials as well. This is not something that I would recommend. It definitely feels like a bit more of a luxury tool, but it can make a lot of projects a lot easier and a lot faster by having this tool in your tool belt. Okay, if you're still watching, hopefully you found this video helpful. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. I do share videos like this and other real estate related videos. I would really appreciate your support. And as promised, I am going to get into the bonus tip. If you go onto onto homedepot.ca or you go into the store, you're going to be able to buy bundles of tools. Now, Ryobi puts these on and they're different variations of bundles. Some are much smaller, just maybe 2 tools and a battery. Others are much, much larger. The beauty of this is you're going to save a ton of money than if you were to buy them as individual tools. Yes, you may end up with some additional tools that you didn't really want or need, but you'll still end up saving more than if you only bought the tools that you needed individually. You may end up with a flashlight or a shop vac or something of that nature. But nonetheless, you're going to get the tools that you actually need, and you never know when you may need those one-offs that you didn't plan on buying in the first place. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm going to be sharing more content like this as I'm a DIYer myself, and I do use all these Ryobi tools. They haven't let me down yet. I know there's going to be some people on here talking about Milwaukee or DeWalt tools. Those are phenomenal. We aren't meant to compete with those, but this is a great entry-level tool set that is going to get you started in your DIY projects or any woodworking that you want to take on. I hope you found this video helpful. Stay tuned for more like this.